What's going on, guys? Welcome to Ambro's Landscape YouTube channel. So in my last video that I posted, we talked about using the Stihl RZ mower for the first time. And in today's video, we're going to be using that same mower, but this time we got the bagging system installed. So Stihl sent this over to me, the bagging system, a mulching kit, and a striping kit. Of course, the mulching kit is not installed, so I'm going to be showing you guys the bagging system and the striping kit. And I'm really excited to use this. I used it last week. I don't know if there was something that I installed wrong, because I noticed that when I was mowing, it was kind of cutting a little low on the right side, which is this side of the deck right here. I double checked the height of the deck and it was level. The only thing I can think of was maybe the blade was off a little bit, or possibly the weight. And I double checked the suspension on it to make sure everything was correct all the way around. So we're going to test that out today and get that done. And a couple other pieces of tools I want to show you guys. This is the new BRA600. This is Stihl's brand new battery powered blower. And then I also had the FSA135R, which is the battery powered trimmer. And the reason why I'm going to use those two things today is because it is 7:16 at night. That's my daughter. It is 7:16 at night. And so it's a perfect time to use battery powered. So if you guys are working late, like I am tonight, and you don't want to disrupt the neighbors, this is where the battery powered actually does come in. And the property is small enough where I can do the whole entire thing on probably a single battery, which is awesome. So that's one thing I'm looking forward to. So anyways, so without further ado, let's hop on this mower, start mowing, and then I'll show you some of the cool little features of this bagging system, of what I like and do not like compared to other ones that I've used. But without further ado, let's get going. So we did that front yard, and we have another section on the other side of the perimeter that we did. So let's see how much grass we got out with this guy. So there's typically a pin right there that you pull. I didn't do it. Okay, so not too bad. Not bad at all. This is, it's nice to kind of get them before it overfills, whatever the word is. And because once it gets this high, you have to smush one down, dump it, and then you have to use the leftover stuff from on top to clean out that one. So this is actually not that bad. So let's get this cleaned out and we'll go get some more mowing done. Now, we don't typically bag a lot at all. The only time we ever bag is if the grass is really long, such as this property, because we've let it go for a little bit. Another reason why we'll bag is clearly by clients' requests, which we always try to steer them towards mulching because it's better. The biggest reason why we will bag is if the yard is infested with weeds and we haven't sprayed yet. So typically in the springtime, we will do our big spraying. And of course, we don't want to mulch because we don't want to spread those weeds around. So we'll bag and collect all the seeds so that way it does not spread. So that's the only other time that we'll really bag. But about 95% of the time, we typically will mulch. Let's go finish the rest of the yard. lot fuller than last time. So what do we win? Oh, not too bad. Okay, this is actually a perfect scenario when there's just barely enough on this side. Then we can move all this to that side, even it out, and that way we just have 3 bags to clean out. We don't have to do 4 or 5. Now, one thing, if you guys notice that when I'm mowing, you kind of hear the engine constantly cutting out. And the reason why is because the sensitivity of the seat, when you go to sit up a little bit, it wants to shut off, and it's a little too much. And the reason why it's really annoying is because if you notice in the video, I keep my foot on the deck lever to lift it up, because when you're turning, sometimes it'll scalp into the grass, or just in case you hit a rock, you want to be able to lift it up really fast. And so the one thing about this mower specifically that I'm not a big fan of with the front shocks is when you're turning, especially on an uneven surface, sometimes the deck can scalp into the grass. So that's why I lift up when I turn. Now, one of the downsides of doing that is that when I lift up, it takes a little bit of pressure off the seat sensor, and that's why the engine's wanting to constantly shut off. And it's just such an annoying thing. And clearly, if I owned this machine and I wasn't recording this video, I would just tell you just to take the sensor off, because it's kind of annoying. The only time you really would want to use it is if you're doing hillsides, clearly, because if the mower flips over, you want the engine to shut off. But we do nothing but flat ground, so we don't need that. So all cleaned out, let's get going. Now I got to get started on the weed whacking and blowing, and it's perfect timing because it's 8 o'clock at night. So this is where battery powered trimmers or tools really come in handy. That way I'm not going to be annoying the neighbors. So let's hop in the trailer and we'll go get the trimmer. So in terms of batteries, I'm going to use the AP300. I do have the 500s in here. I usually use those for the blower. The reason why I like using the 300 though, let me turn this camera around. The reason why I like using the 300, it's a little bit lighter, so it makes it a little bit easier with the trimmer. And so I do like that. With the 500s, like I said, I use it for the blower, right there. But of course, like I said, I do like this trimmer. It's a little heavy on the back end, and that's why I use that battery. I could use the 200, but I don't think it'd be enough to finish the whole entire yard. And of course, I had to take the guard off. I was using this with the guard, if you guys watched one of my recent videos, for safety reasons for the video. But of course, I take the guard off because the cutting width of the string is it's not wide enough. And so it tends to scalp, takes forever to weed whack. And so it's just so much easier just to take the guard off. So anyways, let's see how loud this is. Not too bad. I mean, compared to a gas engine, this thing is great. So let's get this all trimmed up. We'll call it good. All right, so we just got all the weed whacking done. So what you saw in the video, which was basically this front yard with the AP300S, we're about half bars right now. So, okay, not really the greatest. I did take a long time kind of weed whacking a lot of longer sections. So clearly if we were at a weekly maintained yard, which this one hasn't been done for about 2 weeks, the battery life probably would have been a little bit better. So rather than using the big backpack blower for this job, it's really just 2 sidewalks and the mower. We're gonna grab the new handheld one. This is the BGA 250. Yeah, 250. Nice little blower. The one thing that's unique about this is the down angled nozzle. So cool little blower. It's got some nice power to it, which I'm very happy for. So it's perfect for a job like this. So let's get this all taken care of. And of course, the last thing we got to get is the mower. So let's hit that really quick. All right, you guys, so it is 8:24 at night. So it's a perfect time to call it good. Overall, I do like this mower, but there are a few things about it I'm not really a big fan of, mostly because I'm so used to my Hustler. One of the things that I noticed is that the hydros on this one are a lot tougher to kind of push forward and backwards, where the Hustlers are very smooth. Yes, the hydros whine like crazy, but they are so smooth that you can just use just one hand to go forward and backwards, left and right. This one requires a lot more pressure. So that's the one thing I noticed. The parking brake gets really annoying really fast because, like I said, used to a Hustler where when you pull the levers out or the arms out, it automatically goes into a parking brake. And so when you want to hop on and start mowing, you just pull those in and you can start mowing. This one, I constantly forget this e-brake. And so it's just, that tends to get really annoying. Now the overall bagging system is really cool. So one of my favorite features of this mower, which I have not been able to use it, and hopefully I won't have to, is that it has a quick release. So say if this thing gets clogged, so you take the tubing off, it has a quick release that you pull out and then this swivels out. And that's really cool because it gives you easy access inside the blower if it gets clogged up and you can clean it. Where on my Hustler, you have to remove one of the bolts and you have to physically remove the whole entire thing, which is really annoying. So there's a couple other things about this mower I do and do not like, but I will say that for the full review video that I have coming up here very soon. But that is all it. And when it comes to the other battery requirements, like I said, I'll have the blower in a different video. The trimmer is really nice. It does, like I said, I wish the head wasn't as heavy since I am so used to the 94R. So if Stihl either made the head a little bit smaller or had a lighter battery that is as powerful as an AP300S or 500, then I would be set to go and I would be ready to switch over to battery powered trimmers because there are some benefits to them. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have any comments on any of the tools, please let me know and I'll be sure to answer them. And I will see you guys next time on Ambrose Landscaping.